Hi, it's editing me yet again. I feel like at this point, I can't make a video without chiming in. But I will say it hasn't happened as often as I feared it would, so that's at least good. My intro kind of sucked, so I'm doing it now. Hi everyone, my name is Damla. Welcome to Rainy Rambles. Or welcome back. Welcome if you're new. On this channel, I talk about anything related to books. And in this video, I'm doing a reading vlog for Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I've never really read sci-fi before, so this was kind of my entry into the genre, and I was very curious to see if the genre was something that interested me, and also because I've heard a lot of positive things about the book. I will be giving my opinion around 10% into the book, around 25%, 50, 75, and then when I'm done. So yeah, that's what today's video looks like. I hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, I am 10% into Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I read the first 3 chapters and I'm really enjoying this. I don't remember if I explained the plot, but if not, I will do so now. We follow our main character who wakes up and he has no fucking clue where he is, or who he is even, for that matter. And what I'm gonna say now is on the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler. But he ends up being the sole survivor on this spaceship on a mission, and he has to figure out who he is, why he's there, what he's supposed to do, all that stuff. And I'm really liking it so far. I really like Andy Weir's writing style. Also, I wasn't expecting there to be a Dutch character, so represent, I guess. I'm not that much of a science girly to the point that I'm understanding every single thing that I'm reading, but I'm trying to understand it as much as I can, and it's really fun. I also like, this is a spoiler, I'm probably going to include spoilers in this reading vlog. We basically find out that there is this like life form. I don't know what it's called, but like it's basically a life form that we discover, right? I like our main character a lot. Ryland Grace is his name, and I also like the way so far that we're dealing with his emotions when he wakes up. When he wakes up, he finds that there are 2 other people who are dead on the spaceship. They are essentially mummified, and when he first wakes up, this is something he notes later on, he doesn't really know who they are, but it's like subconsciously he's doing everything to not look at them. And then there are like little moments where he starts to remember things, like what he's doing for a job, who he is, what is sort of like the lead up to him being in the spaceship. And one of the memories, or not specific memories, but something he just remembers, is that the people on the ship were people that he knew, and so he has this moment where he's just breaking down. I'm hoping I maybe can finish this before the month ends, actually, because I read like over 30 pages today, which is pretty decent. But yeah, we'll see what I think next, and I will see you after the 25% mark, I guess. Hello, I am about 25% into Project Hail Mary, so I thought I would talk about my thoughts so far. I'm also gonna do my hair in the meantime. My overall thoughts, I'm very invested and I'm really enjoying it right now. It's been very interesting, and in terms of specifics, I really like Ryland as a character. I think he's a very great personality. He's a very intriguing character. I like all of the facets that are there about him and to him. I also like his little comments and even his internal dialogue / monologue that we see in the book. It's really funny. I like the structure of the story. I like that I talked about the earlier chapters, but I like about how in chapter 1, for example, that is when Ryland wakes up from his coma and he's like slowly regaining his memory, and I like how like we're slowly getting bits and pieces of why he is on that spaceship. Also, all of the experiments that he's doing are surprisingly fascinating to read about. I was not expecting to be as invested as I am, to be honest. So it's been really fun so far. I'm very excited and interested to see where this goes. Where we are in the story now is that the spaceship, the Hail Mary that Ryland is on, I think has like run out of fuel, or at least whatever it was that caused there to still be gravity. He's currently like just like floating around. It was also really interesting to see him adapting to that environment, and he has seen like an alien form of life but I am a little wary of it because there's a part of me that's like, I know this is sci-fi, so it wouldn't be crazy, but also what if it's just something from Earth, like a spaceship from Earth, or like a robot that happens to be there as well. I mean, then again, there is life outside of Earth in this book, even if that is like a very small organism, that is still considered life. So maybe it is an alien, who knows? I don't know. I'm still kind of wary of it. Like at first I was like, oh my god, aliens that are more developed beings, but I'm not too sure. So we'll see how this goes and we'll see what I think of it. I will make sure to update you guys, but just know that I'm really liking it so far. I can't really say much about what my rating would be. I think I really need to know more about the book to be certain of that, but all I can say is that I am having a great time here, and I'm kind of excited to see this be adapted into a movie. So I might check that out as well once it comes out, but I think I read that it's going to release in like 2026. So I will see you guys when I'm about halfway into the book. Hello guys, I am about halfway into Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And so here are some more of my thoughts. I'm going to be doing my makeup in the meantime. So I am thoroughly enjoying this book so far. Where we left off, I don't know if I said this already, but obviously there's going to be spoilers. I'm probably not gonna spoil the ending, but I can't guarantee that. So just putting that out there. So where we left off, I think was when Ryland saw like another spaceship and it tried to make contact with him, and he was like, oh my gosh, is that like alien life? I'm gonna try to summarize this very succinctly, but it's really hard. So Ryland finds alien life. He names them Iridians, and he meets this one Iridian named Rocky. They figure out how to communicate. Rocky communicates with like sound stuff, kind of similar to whales. It's kind of like singing as well. And so they try to like communicate with each other. Ryland uses a program that will like enter the sounds into an Excel sheet, and he like translates it or something like that, and then he can use it to communicate back. We also find out why he's there, same reason. Astrophage is also fucking up their planet. Then we're also getting flashbacks about, that is I think leading up to Ryland becoming part of the crew. We haven't met other crewmates yet, but we are finding out the devastating consequences of Astrophage and how it is affecting the planet. Because apparently the planet, or not the planet, there's an estimated like half of the population will have died by like 19 years. We're also seeing that Dr. Stroud, like the scientist that I think she's the one that like approached Ryland, is like above the law in so many ways, which is interesting. It's interesting to see how this would play out. Like so many countries are coming together and like putting their rivalry aside, which it makes sense. There's no war to fight if you're all dead, right? But enough yapping about the storyline. I am really enjoying it. The story is well written, it's very engaging. Even the parts where Ryland was on his own were very entertaining to read about. And I really like the way the interaction with Rocky and alien life, and I like the way that Andy Weir has thought of this alien life and how their world works. I think it's very interesting, and it is very nice to see how much different it is from ours, and also similar in some ways. Sometimes the very sciencey stuff confuses me a little bit, but that is more so because I'm not like a microbiologist. I'm not very knowledgeable on like space related science, so I'm trying to understand everything. It's a little hard, but I will say you can read the book just fine without understanding some of it, because the key points are really easy to digest. I think Ryland is a very likable main character. He's great. I really like the side characters so far. I do kind of wish we would have met the crew earlier, because we still haven't met them, and I think it would have added to the level of emotion that Ryland experiences when he thinks of his crewmates. Now that's not as prevalent, still happens sometimes, but I also understand now where he's just like, yay, I'm not alone anymore, and we have like discovered alien life, which is revolutionary for humans. It's not something where it bothers me, but I think it would have been interesting to see, but I can also understand why that wasn't done. I am gonna go, and I'm gonna get back to you guys around the like 3/4 mark, when I'm like 75% into the book, and let you guys know my thoughts. We'll see what I think of it. Hello everyone, we are about 75% into Project Hail Mary, and a lot has happened. I don't remember where exactly we left off, but a lot has happened. Ryland and Rocky find out that there's actually a chance to save both of their planets. They found out that astrophage has a predator, and so if you take a sample of that predator and you put that around astrophage is no more, and that also explains why there's less on that planet. Also, I'm sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. I have a new desk chair that I'm like trying out. It looks nice, it looks better in terms of like the color cohesion of my room, but I'm having to get used to it. So anyway, we discovered that. We also discover that there is actually a chance that Ryland can return to Earth. So far he was under the impression that he was essentially going on a suicide mission, because it had to do with the amount of fuel that is on the Hail Mary. And so Ryland kind of assumed like, I'm gonna die here, so I will just do what I have to do to save humanity and then die. But Rocky's planet, which is called Iridia or something, anyway, his planet is a lot hotter than Earth, and so breeding astrophage is really easy. And so they have he has a fuck ton of it on his ship, and he's like, I can like help you out and we can get you back to Earth. And so Ryland is like blown with emotions, etc. So they go and try to retrieve that predator that I just talked about. Also, while this is happening, we are also getting flashbacks of Ryland's memories leading up to the Hail Mary going up to space. And so the process of like picking out people, which is absolutely tedious. And there's also this like, I think it was, I don't know, some research from someone from some country, work somewhere. This is basically the whole like plot line of the flashbacks. Someone from some country knows somewhere and knows something to help the Hail Mary. Now back to what is actually happening in, well, not actually happening, but like the present in the story. So they go to that planet that I talked about earlier, that potentially might have that predator. There's a bunch of life on that planet, which is also, Ryland's also like, oh my gosh, there's like more life. Like there's like bigger microorganisms. There's like amoeba. I don't know what it's called in English, but like microorganisms. And then we find out that there's a potential like predator of astrophage. And so Rocky and Ryland are like, this is great. We can just take that predator, breed it, and then take it to our planet, and we're saved. But there are some issues. First of all, the planet's like atmosphere and stuff is completely different. So if I recall correctly, I think like, so they're trying to retrieve it, which like that goes okay-ish until there is a problem in the Hail Mary. And I think it was something about the atmosphere of that planet basically burning the spaceship. And a bunch of astrophage was going to that planet. The astrophage sees the planet, is like, I'm going there. So you're missing a ton of fuel, things are going wrong, and so I think the Hail Mary was descending. Gravity's getting heavier, Ryland is struggling to stay alive, and Rocky passes out. I think he ended up being passed out for a couple of days. I thought he died. I was about to cry. The creepy thing about Iridians, which is like Rocky's species, when they sleep or when they're passed out, they look dead. So you can't really tell if they've passed away or not. You just have to like wait it out. So that's what like Ryland had to do. He just had to be like, I hope he's not dead. He looks dead, but he also looked dead when he was asleep. So anyway, Rocky is alive. Everyone's happy. In terms of my enjoyment, I'm really liking it so far. Again, the science stuff is sometimes just kind of like, you just have to let it happen to you. I cannot confirm or deny whether any of the like science stuff that is like not fictional is like correct, but it seems legit and it's pretty interesting to read. There's a part of me that sort of wishes we also got to see, and I understand why this wasn't in the book. I feel like it probably would have been way too long and maybe not as necessary, but I think it would have been nice to see how the situation is on Earth, because especially at this point, we're familiar with so many characters that are probably going to stay on Earth related to this mission. We have Dr. Strut, we have the Russian guy, Dmitri something. So my point is, there are a lot of people, and so I feel like you could work with that, kind of. I get that maybe that's not as like easy to make exciting or interesting, especially because at this point there's no information coming to Earth. I'm still really enjoying the writing style. I think Andy Weir, I can't really put my finger on what exactly it is, but I really enjoy his writing style. It's very engaging, it's very fun to read. It's not, you are like emotionally invested, and I'm not going to say it went like deep, but you know, you're on essentially a suicide mission trying to save humanity. That brings a lot of emotions with you, but it's not to the point where you're like, okay, I kind of get it, can we like move on now? Another thing that I think is nice, well, kind of, I guess the foreshadowing was done nicely. So anyway, I am really enjoying it, and we have about 120 pages left. I'm very interested to see how this goes, like, because if Ryland goes, or not if/when he goes back, I'm hoping it's gonna be a when. That's gonna take another 13 years. Is that gonna be a time skip? Is he gonna like decide to put himself in a coma? Is he gonna end up not going back? What is gonna happen to Rocky? Can he go back to his planet? I hope so. I feel like this is gonna be such a long vlog. I don't know if people are gonna watch this actually, but if you're still watching this, thank you. So I'm gonna continue reading. Sadly, I will not be able to finish this before the month ends because it is July 31st today. But I am hoping to finish it this week at least. And ow. And I have a lot of questions that I hope and think will be answered by the end of this, but we'll have to see. So I will get to you guys when I'm done with Project Hail Mary. It feels weird to be done with this book. I always have that like weird feeling whenever I'm about to finish a book or a TV show or a movie or something like that. So I will speak to you guys when I'm done reading Project Hail Mary. I keep making these when I'm about to go to bed. I don't know why. I finished Project Hail Mary last night, and I thought I would talk about my thoughts. I really liked it. I loved it. Both Ryland and Rocky try to go back to their respective planets. They have figured out, there have been a lot of like obstacles in trying to go back, but finally they both leave and they say their goodbyes, and I was honestly really sad reading this. Like, on one hand I wanted Ryland to go back simply because he wanted to go back, but him and Rocky did develop this like very special friendship. Also, we are learning how Ryland got to be on the Hail Mary. It was completely against his will. I was so, oh my goodness, feeling so many emotions when I found out about that. I was like, oh, what, you're telling me that he didn't like volunteer to do this? Instead, Dr. Stroud like ended up acting like he had a choice, but he really didn't, and he ended up being drugged, and this whole thing was kind of planned out by Dr. Stroud, who was like, you know, you won't remember any of it when you wake up. By the time you will remember, you will be too caught up in this project to not help. And she was right. My first thoughts were just that I was really annoyed at like what she did, and then I realized, you know, she is kind of right, and it is for like the, you know, saving the species, but still, you know. Back to the timeline of like the book. So basically what they do is they end up finding like some kind of tow mob, I think it's called, what they call it, on like the planet that can eat astrophage, and long story short, they're basically trying to breed it and kind of like use evolution to their advantage so that it can withstand the environments of their planet. But in doing that, Ryland made a mistake, which is that there's a certain material that it can get through now. And so basically Ryland finds out that it can get through that material and start eating at the astrophage. He was like, okay, well, I would be fine, but Rocky's ship is basically, I think it's like xenonite or something, something like that. Rocky's ship is like full of that stuff, and so he goes to look for Rocky, try to find him, because he's like, I could go back, but I could also save my friend. And he goes to save his friend. So he goes back. Rocky's like, what are you doing here? And then, well, but then we find out that Rocky has also noticed this error that basically Ryland made in his judgment. And I mean, it can happen. There were so many things that went well. There had to be something to go wrong. He ends up helping him. But then I think there was something about like the fuel or something. Long story short, Ryland couldn't go back, and he was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna die here. I kind of knew that, but I wanted to save you. And I was like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I wanted to cry. And then Rocky is like, no, you know what? Come to Arid. My Iridians, we will figure something out so you can go back. So in the next chapter, I think Ryland is like, what was it? Like in his, I think Ryland is like in his 70s or something? Or in his 50s? Or is he in his 50s actually? I don't remember, but he's like a bit older. He basically has been on Arid for like decades at this point. They have like cultivated this environment that he can exist in without dying, because the Iridian air is full of ammonia, and it's like so much so that you would probably die, and gravity is way heavier there. So what the Iridian scientists have found out is that the like levels of our sun, like the Earth's sun, are like back to normal. So basically Earth has solved this astrophysics problem with the information that is sent to Earth by Ryland, or either Ryland and the Iridians. And so he's like really happy. He's like, oh, seems they fixed it, I'm super happy. And we also see that Rocky and Ryland have like really grown to be best friends, and Rocky is back with his partner, which is so cute. And also Ryland can understand Iridian fluently, and Rocky can also understand English fluently, which I think is interesting. You can notice it in the way that like Rocky's words are written. The sentences are more sophisticated, and that's not because Rocky's language has become more sophisticated, but because of Ryland's understanding of the Iridian language has like sophisticated more. So he's able to pick up like on grammar more and stuff like that, and it's become very natural to him. So that was really nice to see. So I really liked the book. I loved it. I think it was a great entry into sci-fi. A lot of the sciencey stuff was super interesting. There were a couple of times where it was a little hard for me to follow, but it didn't get in the way of me enjoying the story. I will say, I'm not sure what to think of the ending. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love this ending. I'm not sure what it is about it. It's normal not to have closure on everything, but I was really looking forward to Ryland seeing Dr. Strutt again, for example, and them having a conversation, because I thought they needed one. And it also would have been nice to see just Earth and how Earth dealt with it, because we know that like the problem is solved and Earth is saved, but the specifics would have been really interesting to see, and I would have loved to see like a POV, or maybe not even a POV, but just to see how things are going on Earth as like time is passing by, because Ryland has like so many of these people around him that he cares about. He has like the kids of, you know, the school that he's teaching at. He has Dr. Strutt and all these other like researchers. I mean, he had his crew that was dead when he woke up, but just things like that. And it would have been nice to see how that developed, and you know, but I really liked the book. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was really good. I liked it a lot. And I will probably check out some more science fiction. So if anyone has recommendations, feel free to comment, and you will probably see my want to read list on Goodreads expand as time goes on. So yeah, that was my reading vlog, reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I hope you liked it, and I didn't really have like a lot of b-roll footage. I think this is mostly just me talking about the book as I'm going on, you know, but I think it's also kind of nice to just like yap about a book. If you've read Project Hail Mary, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you agree, disagree, etc. with me. Feel free to comment. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to, you can follow me on my socials. I have Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Storygraph, so you can follow me there. It's all in the description linked below. So yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you have a lovely day. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.